teach the whole world music. To sing a simple melody. To sing about all the joys and good times, yeah. You see, that's the way God meant for it to be. And if you don't like it, you don't have to sing. You don't have to sing my song. If you don't like it, you don't have to play. You don't have to play my song. If you don't like it, you don't have to sing. You don't have to sing my song. If you don't like it, you don't have to play my song. I'd love to sing a song for all the children. They are our future. Can you see? Take a little time out for the babies and teach them about love, hope, and prosperity. And if you don't like it, you don't have to sing my song. And if you don't like it, you don't have to play my song. If you don't like it, you don't have to sing my song. And if you don't like it, you don't have to play my song. If you don't like it, you don't have to sing my song. If you don't like it, you don't have to.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. This is Point of View, and it's just me today. But I am so thankful to God for everything that He's done, He's doing, He will do in our lives. It's just a pleasure to be before you today. I know Clee has an appointment today, and I haven't talked with Yola today, but I'm sure that whatever's happening, I will know about it because I didn't reach out because I know she'll reach out to me. And if she comes in later, that'll be great. And I am so thankful to God. And as dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. It's amen. I am so thankful. It's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. It's a privilege to come before you. And this is Point of View. Point of View has been on the web since I think 20 before 2013, I believe. I've been doing this a long time. I started out on what is it, UStream. That's been many, many years ago. So I'm continuing in the name of the Lord. And then I'm so thankful that I have Clee and Eula who have joined in with me. And so those of you who were watching on Tuesday, I, Velma, I saw your comment after I closed out. And Yvette, I saw your, of course, you know, I saw your message to me that my mic was off, and I know when I monitored it, the music, I could hear the music on the other format, but then after the music stopped, then my microphone stayed off. So I know I'm on today, and I'm sure you can hear me. So today I'm going to go back. I started to redo it on that day and then repost it. But then I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just go ahead and cover it, God willing, on Thursday. So I'm going to talk about anger and anxiety today. And then, if I have time, I'm going to talk about being yourself. Being yourself, because many times this anger and anxiety comes from us trying to please everybody except ourselves, okay? Trying to please everybody except our own selves, okay? So we're going into this anxiety. Let me, how do anger and anxiety interact? How do they interact? And this is by Bernard Golden, who has a PhD, and he has an article, Overcoming Destructive Anger. So, how do anger and anxiety interact with each other? So, these are very important points. You know, I've been talking about mental illness, and I know we all know people who have suffered or may be suffering from mental illness, some kind of mental disorder, some kind, some way, somewhere, somehow. And so many times they give us these, this research helps us, these articles help us, and they're out here to help us to be able to deal with it, if it's us ourselves or if it's someone else, to know the signs and symptoms and be able to somehow be able to deal with this. If we cannot help the person except by praying and praying for them, and we know prayer reaches everywhere. No matter where they are or we are in the world, it goes where it needs to go if we're praying earnestly to God in the name of Jesus Christ. But we have to be able to understand what's going on. And many times we have encountered people, we've had people in our families, still may have people in our families who suffer from anger disorder and anxiety. So, how do we recognize how anger and anxiety interact can and how it can help diminish suffering? So this is from Psychology Today. It's Psychology Today. Just look up Psychology Today online, okay? Talking about anger and anxiety. While anger and anxiety are two distinct emotions, like all emotions, they provide us with information about ourselves, if only we can take time to listen to them. And while distinct, they can interact in a variety of ways that may exacerbate anxiety, anger, or both. Okay? So we have to understand what's going on before we can deal with it. We must understand what's going on before we deal with it. Anger is an emotion characterized by antagonism towards someone or something we perceive as responsible for our suffering. It is most often post oriented, about something, or past oriented, excuse me, about something that we believe should, SHOULD, have happened, or something we believe should not have happened. Talking about anger and anxiety, okay? So, when destructive anger can impair our health and relationships, undermine a career, and contribute to substance abuse. Okay? When destructive, when it's being destructive, anger can impair our health and relationships. It can undermine our career, and it also can contribute to substance abuse. So, when constructively managed, it can help fuel our capacity to assertively express ourselves and provide us the motivation to correct a wrong. Okay, now anxiety, we're going into that. So this is a little shorter than what I had the other day, but it's just as powerful. Okay, anxiety is compacted. Okay, anxiety is marked by bodily tension, worried thoughts, and physical changes. Quite often, anxiety is a reaction to not feeling in control of oneself and or one's surroundings. Anxiety is most often about the future, okay? It's most often about the future. And you heard what I said about anger, okay? It's about sometimes the past. All right? So anxiety is mostly and most often about the future, encompassing free floating tension about something happening even when it is ill defined, when you can't even tell what it is, don't even know what it is, okay? Anxiety is often at the foundation of being emotionally avoidant, suppressing and repressing our emotions. Such avoidance is an attempt to escape the discomfort of each or such feelings such as anger, anxiety, shame, guilt, and inadequacy. Sometimes we think we're not good enough or we're not adequate. We're just not what we feel like we ought to be, okay? Sometimes it's that. So this is especially the case when these feelings are a challenge to our self-esteem, when they're a challenge. So however, anxiety can be beneficial as it can motivate us to address concerns that are important to us with regard to improving our emotional and physical well-being. Too much can be paralyzing, while too little can inhibit taking action. Okay, so you remember? No, you don't remember because you couldn't hear me. But last week it included the fight, the flight, and the freeze. Okay, fight, flight, or freeze. So when you fight, that means you're defending, trying to do something. Flight, you're running away from it, and freeze, you just stand there and it seems like you're paralyzed, nothing you can do. Okay, so too much can be paralyzing, while too little can inhibit taking action. The physical impact of anger and anxiety. Both anger and anxiety can cause our body to be physiologically in high alert. However, anger arousal is most often due to a specifically identified threat. You hear that? The difference in them? While anxiety may have no such target. So they differ, but they work. Hey, how are they together? How do they react together? Okay. So during states of anger, breathing and heart rate increase, as does blood pressure. Chronic anger correlates with cardiac disease, high blood pressure, and even backache. You hear that? So, when severe anxiety may be accompanied by physical symptoms that might include sweating, that's when it's severe anxiety, okay? It might include sweating, trembling, increased blood pressure, dizziness, rapid heartbeat, and an overall sense of feeling disoriented. So, have you ever felt like that? Some people know these signs and symptoms because many people have had these signs and symptoms, and many people suffer from anxiety disorder and anger disorder. Many people suffer from them. So let me see. I think I have a message, but I'm not going to. So when severe, anxiety may be accompanied by physical symptoms that might include all of these things. Chronic anxiety can exacerbate illness such as heart disease, gastrointestinal issues, and respiratory illness, and while not causing them, act on the same systems that these illnesses target. So that is dangerous. Okay? So This is to help us to know first the symptoms and signs of anger and anxiety, and then to help us to deal with them because we do know people, if not ourselves, who suffer from these emotional disorders. Okay? So, self judgment and the interaction of anger and anxiety. So, as emphasized in Buddhist psychology, life entails pain due to circumstances we cannot control. And you've heard me say that we cannot control anything in this environment. Now we can work on ourselves, we can do things to help us to be able to deal with things, but when the inevitable is going to be, it's definitely going to be. Okay? So we have no control. God controls everything. Everything, everything, everything. Okay? Now, however, we create additional suffering as a result of the thoughts we have about our pain. We clearly do this when we critically judge ourselves for having anger and anxiety. And so many people, like we self-destruct. We self-destruct because we judge ourselves. We're very hard on ourselves. And I know I'm very critical of myself. I'm not saying I suffer from anxiety disorder or anger disorder or anything like that, but I am harder on myself than I believe probably anybody else is. Well, mainly because I don't let anybody else invade my territory if I can possibly help it. Okay, all right, that's natural, and you know that's natural. And what is it in the oral life part? Okay, so we clearly do this when we critically judge ourselves for having anger or anxiety. So, and we have self protection. We protect ourselves. Okay, okay. So don't tell me this thing's gonna mess with me. Okay. So as such, while these emotions are themselves a reaction to some perceived threat, simply experiencing anger or anxiety may, in itself, become a source of threat. Consequently, our judgment may only heighten the intensity of such emotions as well as promote their interaction. We may do this in the following manner. So it even spells it out to us. Number one, we might become angry with ourselves for being anxious. And you've heard people say, I don't know why I'm like, I just like this. And they're just so upset. Okay? We might become angry at ourselves for being anxious. Shame is often the outcome of experiencing anxiety when we've come to view ourselves as being weak or inadequate for being anxious. Such shame can encompass anger that is directed inward. And while judgment may originate with shame, it is a form of shaming. That's self shaming. Okay? So this reaction reflects the interactions of experiences in which fueling anxious leads to shame, that leads to anger, which leads to shame, which makes us more vulnerable to anger and anxiety. So I will do that again. This reaction, when the anger it turns inward, or the anxiety turns inward, is directed inward, and the judgment may originate with shame, and it's a form of shaming, like self-shaming. And so when we self-shame, this reaction reflects the interactions of experiences in which feeling anxious leads to shame, that leads to anger, and then that anger leads to shame, which makes us more vulnerable to anger or anxiety. It's a double action here, okay? Number two, we may become anxious when feeling anger. Experiencing some anxiety about our anger can be a good thing. It may help motivate us to cultivate that pause, which is essential to constructively reflect on our anger, the feelings behind it, as well as expectations and knee jerk conclusions that may promote it. So, such pause allows us to respond rather than react to anger. We can respond to it rather than react to it. However, some of us may experience vague and puzzling anxiety the moment any semblance of anger begins to percolate from the depths of our awareness, from our unconscious, and to our conscious awareness. So it could come from within, come deep within, and these things can come back up. It just depends on what triggers it and what the trigger is. So we have to look for the triggers too in order to be able to deal with it. So this may be the case, especially when we find anger frightening or conflict avoidant. Okay? Have concerns about our own impulse control and have learned to renounce our anger. So this might be the case, especially when we find anger frightening, when we're conflict avoidant, when we have concerns about our own impulse control and have learned to renounce our anger. So there's research regarding the interaction of anger and anxiety. So research in recent years has focused on finding more specific ways in which anger and anxiety interact. One study concluded that being prone to anger was often associated with experienced anxiety. And so then, additionally, this report showed that those with depression, accompanied by irritability and anxiety, were more likely to have anger attacks than those with just depression alone. And my little ear things are going, coming. One of them came out. I finally got them to work for me today, so I'm trying to keep them from going out on me by not pushing on them and making them go out. Okay, now going on down, another study explored the relationship between anger and anger attacks and depressive and anxiety disorders and relevant clinical factors. So this study involved patients diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and both. Okay? So, those who experienced both depression and anxiety found to be were found to be most prone to experience anger and anger attacks. So those who were just anxious and then those who were just depressed reflected a decreasing propensity to anger. So these are good reports, aren't they? Additionally, a recent study suggests that those with cluster headaches have a higher degree of trait versus state anger, which is an ongoing disposition versus momentary and situational reactivity that contributes to cluster headaches rather than chronic migraines. So, as indicated in the report in a previous past November in 2019, an insecure attachment style leaves us vulnerable to anger. Specifically, however, anxious and avoidant attachment styles can have a specific impact on anxiety as well as anger. Then there's another study that had subjects complete questionnaires assessing attachment, emotional dysregulation, and suppression depressive and social anxiety symptoms, and aggressive behavior. That was in 2019. And it found that greater difficulty in managing sadness was associated with depression and social anxiety, but now aggression. So, by contrast, greater difficulty with anger was associated with aggressive behavior, but not depression and anxiety. And this, to me, even if we don't get it all like in this one sitting, we can always go back and review this video because I guarantee in one of these segments you'll be able to find something or someone in one of these segments that you're very familiar with. So this is consistent with what's been observed in the practice of this PhD doctor who wrote this. He said in his practice that anxiety alone may create an experience of a freeze. Remember, I talked about freeze, okay? Like the proverbial deer in the headlights. By contrast, all too often, many individuals who are prone to act out their anger, either verbally or physically, they are either verbally or physically aggressive, and they are acting out from a depressive core. And then there's resilience when experiencing anger or anxiety, okay? This is the next section. We are most resilient when we are open. You hear that? We're most resilient when we are open to recognize and accept the full range of our feelings without judgment. This calls for cultivating our capacity for self soothing and self compassion as a response to our anger or anxiety. It is a challenging task that entails learning to pause and be mindful of the inner voice that informs how we experience these emotions. So, just step back. First, acknowledge it and then be resilient, recognize and accept, and then learn to control and deal with it, okay? The pause, take a look at it, and learn the best way to deal with it to keep you in a healthy state of mind, or whoever is suffering from one of these or both of them, to keep them in a healthy state of mind. So, learning to pause and be mindful of the inner voice that informs how we experience uh, these emotions. And when we enhance the capacity to sit with honor and manage our anger and anxiety, we expand our resilience for dealing with life's challenges. Isn't that wonderful? This is great information. And my aim here on Point of View, Clee's aim, Eula's aim, is to help somebody. If I could help somebody along the way, then my living will not be in vain. And that's what Point of View is all about. That's what it's all about. And when I'm helping someone else, I'm helping myself. Because when I study and research these articles, these blogs, these writers and doctors and psychologists, who is also a doctor, and I know that psychiatrists, all of that. When I do this research, I have myself in mind too. I want to learn. I want to know. I want to know. Okay, so we've done that, talking about the anger and the anxiety, how they work together, what they are, the definition of them, how they are separately and how they are together, how we can compare them, how we can deal with them, how we can form a resilience. We're resilient. We're resilient. God made us resilient human beings where we can take so much
till it's just mind-boggling. It will blow your mind if you think about how resilient the human being is, because we're made in the image of God. Okay? We're made in the image and likeness of God. And He did not make any junk. Is that a cliche? Okay. Let me go here to being yourself. Be yourself. You can deal with this anger. So, and like I said in the beginning, so many people, because they don't be themselves, this can cause the anger and anxiety issues. I'm not saying everyone, that's not what I'm saying, but many people have anger and anxiety issues because they're not being true to themselves. Be yourself. Learn to be yourself. Learn to form that resilience and keep that in mind, that you're resilient, you're wonderfully, beautifully made. God made you, me, all of us in His own image. And yes, we have problems. We have problems. His man is born of a few days and they are full of trouble. But Jesus Christ knew that all this would be. And He said, Father, make a body for me and I'll go down and I'll redeem man myself. So God Himself came down as Jesus Christ, and He rectified the situation for us. So we do have hope. We do have hope in the future and right now too. Because when all of this is over, when the judgment day comes and He judges us for who we are at the time that the judgment day came, or at the time that we transitioned into eternity, then we will get our reward or we will be doomed to eternal damnation. So which one do you want? He came so that we will have a right to life and have it eternally, forever live with Him. We won't have anxiety, anger. We won't have depression. We won't have bipolar disorder. We won't have schizophrenia. None of that when it's all over. But He's preparing us now. And point of view is playing a big role in that because it's directed by God. Okay? So if you take this, what we give to you, you'll be able to work with it. I guarantee. And then, like we say, if you have ideas that you want us to discuss, hey, send them to us. And you know that we have discussed ideas that people have sent to us. Okay? All right. Now let me go. Here's a guy that I really like. When I was in the process of when we were doing the rodeos in Denison, Post Sisters and Company, we did rodeos. I mean, like they call them black cowboys and girls, cowboys of color, cowboys and cowgirls of color. We did 3 rodeos in Denison, Texas. Okay. And so when the producer of the show, he suggested to me, and he gave me a book by Tony Robbins to build, my courage and everything, and be able to make it through things, because planning things can be a task, and then you have different ideas from different people, and then you have to make yourself do what needs to be done. Okay, so you have to be yourself. So Tony Robbins, and you can find him, go to Tony Robbins, TonyRobbins, just go to that.com, and you'll find this 11 ways to believe in yourself. 11 ways to believe in yourself. In business and your personal life, self-confidence is a prerequisite for taking massive action. You need to believe in yourself. You hear me? You need to believe in yourself, in your abilities, your skills and passions to take the leap into entrepreneurship or any other aspiration. Okay? Believing in yourself is the linchpin of exceptional That's exceptional leadership, because self-confidence lets you manage and inspire others with assurance and direction. And that is it on the head. We're here. I'm here on Point of View. I don't know why I can't keep my thing straight. You know me now, okay? Okay, this is it. Because self-confidence lets you manage. See, that's what we're trying to do. Build self-confidence in people. Many people don't have self-confidence, okay? Okay, because self-confidence lets you manage and inspire others with assurance and direction. So when you think of it this way, answering the question, why is it important? Got some pop-ups here. Got some pop-ups. Let me get rid of these. Why is it important to believe in yourself? It's easy. Learning how to believe in yourself is critical to creating the life you desire. You hear me? The life you desire, not this one and that one and the other one and all that, but the life that you desire. Your life you desire, okay? So self-belief requires a holistic strategy. You must take control of your thoughts and feelings so you're able to reach your peak state. It also entails building up confidence in your abilities as well as falling in love with yourself, the parts of your personality, perspective, and experience that make you uniquely you. Didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say you wonderfully, beautifully made by God, made in the image and likeness of God? Oh my goodness. Number one, there are 11 of these, okay? Number one, change your perspective. Change your perspective. At the core of self-belief is realizing that you and only you are the driver of your own success. Oh my goodness. May I please say that again? You and only you are the driver of your own success. This is where personal power is built in claiming agency to overcome challenges in your life. Challenges can be overcome. They can be overcome. Ask God to help you to overcome the challenges in life. We have so many challenges. Sometimes it seems like they're just piled up, one on top of the other, one on top of the other. But remember, we are resilient and we have to train ourselves to be able to deal with that. Okay? So, this is where personal power is built in claiming agency to overcome challenges in your life. Believing in yourself isn't about uninterrupted success. It's about being able to move on from failure quickly. Like being able to. We're all going to fail in something, somewhere, somehow. Okay? But then we have to recover quickly. Quickly. Okay? Now, to do that, you must change your perspective on failure. Tony has said, I've come to believe that all my past failure and frustration were actually laying the foundation for the understandings that have created the new level of living I now enjoy. And you must read his story. Please read or watch a video. He probably has it on video, Tony Robbins' story, okay? So this is the top tip to believe in yourself. See failures as opportunities, not obstacles. Learn from them, get up, and achieve your goals. Learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, and get up and achieve your goals. Okay? Come on. Don't fail me now, computer. All right, there we go. Asking how to believe in yourself opens the door for deeper questions. What are the beliefs that are causing these emotions in the first place? Negative emotions like self doubt or anxiety are deeply connected to the opinions we have of ourselves based on our life experiences. You hear that? Based on our life experiences. They're your brain telling you that it's time to examine these limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering ones. But that can be easier said than done. And we know that it can be easier said than done. One way to get started is to focus on your self talk, the words you choose when you speak to yourself. According to the Mayo Clinic, and this is one that I use also, according to the Mayo Clinic, positive self talk can help you or help your coping skills, improve psychological well being, and even increase your lifespan. So the next time you catch a negative inner monologue, change your self talk by replacing those comments with positive thoughts. Just change it. Just say, if you have to say, oh, bad thoughts, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, do it. And then say, good thoughts, I entreat you, I invite you, and start thinking good thoughts, good things. Because let me tell you something, God has so much good in store for you. He has good, more good in store for me. He has more in store for each and every one of us, but we have to speak it. We have to speak it just like it, we have to speak it into existence. What is that about? Those things be as though they're not yet, but then they will be. So you have to speak it as if it's already in action. Okay? That's what you have to do. Practice self love. Practice self love. If you don't love yourself, how can you accept love or even know if somebody else really loves you? Because if you can't tell what love is yourself to yourself, how do you know what love is for somebody else? From somebody else, okay? So practice self love. Self love is the basis of self belief. If you don't love yourself, how can you ever learn to have faith in yourself? And if you don't know yourself, how can you ever fall in love with yourself? To master the art of self confidence, first master the arts, ARTS, plural, of self awareness and self love. Be aware, know who you are, then love yourself because of who you are. Why am I close? I don't know. But anyway, hey, it's no biggie. I just say things like that, okay? Because, hey, that's me. I know why, okay? Because I'm moving, I move. Okay? Determine your values and be proud of them. Embrace your strengths and weaknesses equally. That doesn't mean you can't work on these weaknesses. That's not what we're saying. That's not what he's saying. He says not it is, excuse me, about appreciating who you are and what makes you different from everyone else on the planet. Because there are no two people exactly alike. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that absolutely, positively amazing how there are billions and billions of us in this world, and neither one, nary a one of us, is exactly the same? Twins, they said they're what exact twins? How do they say it? However they put it, said they they look just alike. They're the same. No, they're not. There's always a difference in them somewhere because nobody is exactly like you and you're not exactly like someone else. We are unique. We are unique. We are our own self. Okay? He made it like that. Who would not acknowledge and serve God? Who else can do it? Nobody has control over life or death. And the things that he allows us to do is just because he allows us to do. That's the good, bad, and the ugly. Okay? He allows it. We have no control. So that doesn't mean you can't work on these weaknesses. It's about appreciating who you are and what makes you different from everyone else on the planet. When you start questioning your self belief, remember to love yourself first. Number 4, create healthy routines. I changed my little ear things. I have the smallest one in there. I don't know. To get in touch with your personal power, you need to adopt new routines. Okay? Adopt new routines. Consider building a mediation practice into your routine. Mindfulness meditation is shown to reduce anxiety and help you focus on your core competencies. And then, even your routines, like the way you go home each day, if you leave the house, the way you come back or go when you leave the house. And I know some people have one way in, one way out, or they have certain ways they can go out, certain ways they can go in. Okay. But still, change your routine. That's in your mind and even in your everyday life. Because I have this thing, I don't want anybody to find a pattern in me in the way I move and the way I go and come. I don't ever want anybody to see a pattern, because when people learn the pattern, sometimes that can be trouble. Okay? Sometimes that can be much serious trouble. Okay. Mindfulness meditation is shown to reduce anxiety and help you focus on your core competency. Visualization is used by everyone from Michael Phelps to Jim Carrey because it works. You can even use incantations, a powerful way to use your body and your voice to set intentions. And I'm not talking about negative incantations, but however you have to incantate, you incantate. But I incantate God in the name of Jesus. I know this can be done. I know it can do. I can do this with your help in the name of Jesus. Spirit of God, help me in all that. That would be my incantation. Okay. So or you can start your day with priming, which is an exercise Tony himself uses every morning. That's a combination of all 3 of these routines. So that's the incantations, visualization, and mindfulness meditation. Okay. So by incorporating how to believe in yourself into your morning routine, you can set the tone for a day filled with confidence. This is super, isn't it? Number 5, unlock the power of proximity. Learning how to believe in yourself is like running a race set on an uphill course. Man, oh man. You'll need fuel for the journey. To fuel self-belief, surround yourself with people who inspire and support you. So this is the law of attraction. The idea that, as Tony says, proximity is power. Proximity is power, according to Tony Robbins. Okay? So, whatever you want to achieve in life, find people who will elevate you, not bring you down. Okay? Find people who will elevate you, not bring you down. Now, I'm not talking about people who will worship you. There are some people who want people to worship them. No, no, no. That's not what I'm saying. And don't you find yourself worshiping people. The only one we're supposed to worship is God, okay? Okay, now, but people want you to worship them. So I'm not saying worship people, okay? But find someone that you can look up to, and someone that won't bring you down, someone who will encourage you just like you encourage them. It doesn't mean that they're superior to you, because I can't stand that stuff. I cannot stand somebody trying to be so superior and looking down on others and thinking they're so much better than anybody else. Look here, look here, look here. We all live, breathe, bleed, every one of us the same way, even though we're different, but we live the same way, we breathe the same air, and we have the same maker. So nobody is superior to you. I don't care what kind of position they have, how high they are up in the government, in the church, whatever. You're just as important as anybody else. Now, when I get on that, I can sing a song. Okie dokie. Now, proximity is power. Whatever you want to achieve in life, find people, I know I'm repeating, who will elevate you, not bring you down. You can do this by finding a mentor, joining a mastermind group, or even through coaching, such as with the Tony Robbins Results Coach. You can find people who coach you. I learned these things by reading Tony Robbins books. Then I went on to somebody else and reading self-help books and self-esteem books. That's why I teach on self-esteem and all of that, because I learned how to have self-esteem. I learned it, and now I want to pass it on to other people. Self-confidence and all of that. Not putting myself above anybody else, but being in a position by the grace of God to assist others in being who God means for them to be. All right. So this is different when your group of friends or your family. Okay, this is different. The results coach and all those others are different from your group of friends and family. When you tap into the power of proximity, you'll gain trusted advisors who can not only support you, but challenge you to do better. And that's what you need, a challenge to do better. Number 6, feed your mind. And this is what we're doing today, feeding our minds. The law of attraction isn't just because you associate or who you associate with, okay? It's also about how you feed your mind, what you read and watch on a daily basis. Ooh, this is so good. So make a point to seek out advice from others who have achieved your goals, even if they're not your mentor or coach. Now, which documentaries about people who have done, or watch them, about people who have done great things in life? Read inspirational quotes and write down your favorites. Learn about new topics that will help you reach your goals like finance, or that will help you face your fears, like how to be confident or deliver a presentation. And even when I'm watching TV, watching a movie or a show or something, if I hear a quote or something that grabs me like that, I make sure I write it down. Write it down, or if it comes across the screen, I'll try to shoot it with my camera or something like that so I can remember it. Because there are some good quotes that come across the television, that come across the airways, and that are in books that you can use to help yourself. Okay, now you'll condition your brain to believe in yourself, because it will know that you have the skills you needed to succeed. Help yourself, okay? Number 7, change your focus. Change your focus. Lord, please don't let this thing freeze up on me. Change your focus. Sometimes you don't need to seek support from outside sources in order to believe yourself. Now, sometimes you don't need to do that, okay? So if you're feeling discouraged, sometimes all you need to do is shift your focus. Shift your focus. Instead of focusing on failures or weaknesses, remember moments in your past in which you were successful at a similar task, or in which your strengths come through, or they come through. Okay, now reflect on obstacles you faced and overcame with grace and courage. Focus on all the things you have to be grateful for. Focus on all the things you have to be grateful for instead of what you don't have. Okay? By focusing on the positive, you can change your mindset from one of the negativity to one of abundance. How about that? It's so simple. It's true. But sometimes we have to hear somebody else say it in order to exercise it, accept it, and then use it for ourselves in a positive way. Now we have to face our fears. It's number 8. It's human nature to experience fear and anxiety. That's human nature. And if we didn't have it, because it's a coping mechanism and it's a protection mechanism also, depending on how and what degree it is, okay? So, but when you believe in yourself, you realize that those emotions are there to encourage you to take action, not to hold you back. So you're able to take a deep breath and control your emotions, then shift your focus and turn fear into action. Okay, so I'm just going to use this example. If we're out somewhere, we talk about the fight, flight, or freeze, okay? And that fear, that emotion of fear, if you're out somewhere and you see something that's not healthy or good for you and something's going to get after you and try to get you, what do? Baby, you run like you have never run before, if you can possibly run, or you prepare to help yourself and defend yourself from harm, okay? Okay, so you're able to take a deep breath, control your emotions, then shift your focus and turn fear into action. Okay, now, even if you're getting ready to speak somewhere or you're getting ready to perform, sing, or whatever you're getting ready to do, and you're nervous about it, turn that nervousness into action and do the best. That sometimes when you're nervous, that's the time that you do your best, okay? So face your fears by creating goals that are connected to your overall purpose in life. Setting and achieving goals that help you overcome your fears will give you a sense of accomplishment. Your goals don't have to be huge. They don't have to be huge. Taking small steps that add up to big results will improve your confidence and boost your ability to have faith in yourself. Number 9, develop a growth mindset. Develop a growth mindset. I have 2 minutes, but I'm going to finish this, okay? So if you're struggling to develop self-belief, don't, it's likely you're focused on mistakes you've made in the past. So if you're struggling, okay, to develop self-belief, it's likely you're focused on mistakes you've made in the past. We've all made mistakes in the past, okay? And depending on what we get ready to do, sometimes these fears come back. Okay, we feel like we're going to mess up again. I remember when I was a little girl, and I wanted to play the piano, and I could play. I could read. I was taking music lessons from Miss Weaver. If y'all remember Miss Weaver, you did us some folk. Remember Miss Weaver? And so I wanted to play a solo in Mount Olive on Day Street. That's the church that we were members of. And so I wanted, that's our family church, okay? So I wanted to play the piano. I wanted to play a piano solo on the program, and I don't know which program it was, but anyway, it was a children's. We had a program in Mount Olive. So Mama said before I left the house, she said, "Don't you get up there trying to play that piano." I remember it to this day. I wanted to play. Now, I know I was disobedient, okay? I wanted to play that piano so low, and I know I could play it. So when I got there, I put myself on the program. But when I got up to play the piano, I was sitting at the piano. I was a little girl. I was sitting at the piano. So I started playing. Then I heard Mama say, "Don't you get up there trying to play that piano." And so that scared me, and I was not able to finish the song that I was playing. So that brings us back to, if you're struggling to develop self-belief, likely you're focused on mistakes you made in the past. And I remember that. So, but now I'll play the piano now. I'll play the piano, but that's an experience. That's an example. Okay. So the Association of Psychological Science studied brain activity to observe what happens when someone makes a mistake. Researchers observed one reaction when participants realized they'd made a mistake, and second, when they went to fix the mistake. After, they asked the participants what they learned from their errors. Here's where knowing how to believe in yourself came into play. Participants who believed they could earn from their mistakes improved their performance on tasks they completed after they made the mistake. This is called having a growth mindset, and it's essential to believing in yourself. When you know that you can learn from your mistakes, you're much more willing to make them. And like when I messed up on that piano, that did something to me. And then sometimes being a child, you have to really be careful, or even an adult who's underconfident, but and they want to do something. We have to be very careful at how we say it to them, what we portray when we're saying it, our tone and everything, because that put a little scar on me. It really did, because the way it was said. Now, all of you in Denison know we had loving parents and everything, and our parents loved us and they did the best thing for us. But sometimes we as parents don't always do it like it should be done. And so to me, even though Mama, I know what she meant, it did put a little scar on me. Okay. It did. Okay. I'm talking about emotional, because I was doing good while I was playing, and then I heard her say, "Don't you get up there trying to play that piano." And so to me, it seemed like she didn't have enough confidence in me for me to carry it out. And so therefore, when I heard her in my mind, I just messed up. I had to stop because I couldn't complete the task. Okay. So whether you earn or learn how to write code or how to play the piano, look at here. Learning a new skill can increase your feelings of self efficacy, your belief in your abilities to execute tasks, control your own behavior, and attain your goals. Research has even shown that learning is directly related to happiness. It releases dopamine in your brain. There we go with those hormones again, okay? Hormones, okay? Known as the reward molecule. You'll make new neural connections, strengthen your decision making skills, and more. You'll begin to have faith in yourself, one skill at a time. Ooh, I'm almost finished. Number 11, draw your inner strength. Draw on your inner strength, the strength that you have within you. Remember, I told you that we're made in the image of God. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. God didn't make any junk when he made you and me, okay? Now, why is it important to believe in yourself? Self-belief is about finding your inner strength so that you can embrace the journey that is life with all its ups and downs, and realize that each challenge brings new skills, understanding, and strength. We all have times when we just don't think we can do it. We all have times when we just don't think we can do it. People can stand up and say, I've never had inhibitions. I've always been confident. They ain't telling you the truth. No, they're not. Okay, now I'm going to put my face back up. We all have times when we just don't think we can do it. The most important thing is to never give up. If I had given up when I messed up on that piano, I wouldn't have the music I have out today. I wouldn't be still playing. I still play the piano and whatever the Lord blesses me to do. If I had let that stop me, I never would be where I am today in my music. Okay. Now, the most important thing is to never give up. You'll inevitably encounter obstacles, but it's how you react to them that matters. Believing in yourself is all about digging deep and realigning your focus on what you really want in life. Discovering how to believe in yourself, it truly is, for real, it truly is within your reach. Isn't that wonderful? So, are you ready to achieve all of your goals? Go to this Tony Robbins article, okay? Or just go back and watch Point of View with Shirley, Cleester, and Eula. And this is today, which is the 10th of June in the year 2021. I love you so much. And I'm praying and asking God to touch you, to heal your body if you need healing, to heal your mind if you need healing, to give you the self-confidence that you need, to help control the anger and anxiety, the schizophrenia, the bipolar, whatever conditions there are that you're dealing with, whether it's personal, like you personally, or with someone in your family or someone that you know, that you're close to. And even if you're not close to them, maybe you can help somebody along the way when you know the symptoms, the signs of these illnesses, these disorders, okay? So, God, in the name of Jesus, touch, 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 deliver, heal, give confidence, self-esteem, and whatever project your servant is endeavoring to complete, I ask you, as long as it's in your will, to bless them to complete that task. And if it's not in your will, direct them to a task that is in your will and bless them to be successful in the name of Jesus. I love you so much. I love you so much. Enjoy the remainder of your day.
I'd like to teach the whole world music. To sing a simple melody. To sing about all the joys and good times, yeah. You see, that's the way God meant for it to be. And if you don't like it, you don't have to sing. You don't have to sing my song. You don't like it, you don't have to play. You don't have to play my song. You don't like it, you don't have to sing. You don't have to sing my song. You don't like it, you don't have to play my song. I'd love to sing a song for all the children. They are our future. Can you see? Take a little time out for the babies and teach them about love, hope, and prosperity. And if you don't like it, You don't have to sing